Oh yeah, now my people, it's your guy Kunle, aka the Nigerian Englishman, and
It's your boy KANEBI, aka Mr. Go Ball, Go Ball, Go Ball.
And welcome back to another edition of Round on the Ground with your latest football facts and opinions live on a Monday. Oh yeah, now we start. The league leaders. It seems like we keep talking about this team. Arsenal. It seems like it's not just Nigeria that suffer from NEPA issues or VAR. They caused NEPA issues for the Premier League in the Arsenal versus Leeds game yesterday. It got pushed back 40 minutes, but Arsenal still won the game, stay top of the league, 1-0 to Arsenal.
Speaking about VAR, a lot of crazy VAR discussions yesterday in the big game of the weekend. Liverpool, of course, taking all 3 points on Anfield. Mohamed Salah with that goal against Manchester City.
He just keeps waving his magic wand, this Graham Potter, 3 wins out of 3 in the Premier League, back-to-back wins in a week against AC Milan, and also another comfortable win against Aston Villa. Is Potter the right man for the job? Or is this still this new manager bounce? I don't know again. No.
Manchester United, Eric Ten Hag looking like LVG 2.0 with another draw at Old Trafford against Newcastle United. A lot of crazy calls from the referee. Could it have been a penalty? Could it have not been a penalty? But still, it's 0-0. It finished 0-0 at Old Trafford.
But that wasn't the only football this weekend. There was also other leagues, including the Bundesliga. And this supporting act that Union Berlin are doing right now in the Bundesliga is looking crazy right now. Another great performance, a convincing 2-0 win against Borussia Dortmund, and they stay top of the Bundesliga. Although Bayern came with an emphatic 5-0 victory in their game against Freiburg with goals from a variety of players, including African Choupo-Moting, who, after playing for Stoke, who would have thought his next few clubs would be PSG and Bayern Munich, and he just keeps winning more and more trophies. Great game, a golden assist for him, and also former Liverpool star, Senegal international Sadio Mane also scored on the score sheet for Bayern Munich.
And speaking about the European top leagues, we're going to France with this one, and of course the GOAT, Lionel Messi returned against Marseille to play for PSG, and Neymar scored the winner. Neymar is on form this season, and Neymar seems to be scoring, firing all cylinders. That's good news for Brazil, but also good news for PSG, and also good news for the Super Eagles. Our very own Moses Simon scoring a penalty in the 4-1 win, not scoring all 3 points against Brest.
And for a change, we are in La Liga, but La Liga had the biggest game of the weekend, El-Clasico. Real Madrid versus Barcelona, and that one we're going to go into a lot more detail a bit later in the show, but it ended 3-1 to Real Madrid with goals from Benzema, Valverde, Rodrigo, and also you can call it a consolation goal for Ferran Torres in a 3-1 victory. Also Atletico Madrid with a 1-0 victory over Atletico Bilbao, and the La Liga looks like it always does. Barca and Real at the top. What's new?
Juventus have finally won, people. Thanks to Dusan Vlahovic. Dusan Vlahovic is carrying the old lady on his back, and he delivered, and it was a very, very tight Turin derby, but Dusan Vlahovic in the 74th minute scored the winner. And of course, our very own Olaino was representing Torino in that match, and he played for about 78 minutes of that game, and he put in a very good performance. And speaking about the league leaders, Napoli continued their unbeaten run. 3-2 win over Bologna. Napoli look strong, they look good, they look fast. In fact, I must say they're the most exciting team right now in Europe. And Inter Milan, 2-0 winners at home. They came back with a 2-0 win. Obviously, they drew the game with Barcelona and they dropped points the week before. They're back with a 2-0 win. AC Milan secured all 3 points against Hellas Verona. Wow. AC Milan, Sandro Tonali with another 84th minute goal. And wow. The Serie A is hotting up.
Bro, quickly about AC Milan, as in talking about Rafael Leao. I mean, I think it's only a matter of time to one of these other big boys in Europe pick him up. What do you think? What do you say about his form this season?
Well, his form has been crazy. It's been exciting, but anybody who's going to get Rafael Leao is going to pay an arm and a leg. We're looking at about another Lukaku kind of transfer when we're looking about close to £90 million.
Real talk. Wow, what a weekend of football. And it kind of ended off with the City versus Liverpool game. And it was an incredible encounter. two top teams that have been dominating the Premier League for the last few years, and I don't even know where do we start with the game, KANEBI? I mean, first of all, were you surprised with the lineups of either team, or?
I wasn't surprised with the lineups. Obviously, Milner coming in the right back position, it's standard. That's his way, but that's the Klopp way. But Klopp played a different way. That's what surprised me. Klopp came with a more strategic approach.
It wasn't a Klopp game.
Yeah, it wasn't the rock and roll style we're used to.
Uh-huh.
He came in with a meticulous approach, and it worked for him. But fortunately for him, Man City, going forward, they were not on it.
Okay, so you say that it worked for him. Is it because Klopp got his tactics right, or was it that Pep overthought again?
I think it's a mixture of both. It's a mixture of every time Pep plays Liverpool, obviously he's always thinking. And obviously Liverpool know that, okay, look, this is Man City. Haaland is on fire. They score goals from all kinds of positions anyway. Let us close up shop. Let's be tighter. Let's be more organized. They put in a defensive masterclass yesterday, and I was really impressed. It looked like they could win a different way yesterday. That's what Liverpool showed me, that they could win. Look, we play attacking football, but we could win a different way. And Salah popping up with the goal was very important. A nice assist from Alisson. And what more can I say? They deserve the victory, and it looks crazy this season.
Look, let's be honest. I'm sure most people going into this game are writing off Liverpool, right? And not just for the game, in terms of the season. I do believe this is reinvigorated their season. I still don't think they're in for a title challenge. Don't get it twisted, but I think they can secure top 4 football, and we need to give a personal round of applause to their defense, because everyone talked about Haaland versus their defense.
Yeah, but we can't say this will give them a resurgence until they play West Ham.
But a win against City, surely that's going to galvanize the troops.
It can galvanize the troops, but this is football is a crazy game. You're playing against Manchester City. Your approach against Manchester City is going to be different from when you play West Ham. Could they go back to their old ways? Could they still concede goals again? So we need to see them be consistent in the next 3 games.
For sure. So, but are you telling me, obviously, you're saying Liverpool have been awful, but they turned up for that game because it was City? They had
to make a statement, one, and they had to prove a point that, look, people have written us off, but we're not down and out. It's obvious. But the next round of games is going to really show if they are back.
I agree.
Because this is the Premier League. You can win today, you can lose tomorrow.
I agree, but for being able to make Erling Haaland look so ordinary for 90 minutes, you've got to give Liverpool.
They did that in the Community Shield.
But it was his first game. He's been banging in goals left, right,
and
center.
They did that in the Community Shield.
No, I hear you, but that was first of all, the Community Shield is not at the competitive level as a Premier League game, number one. And it was Haaland's first game, and you could see by the smile on his face when he missed that open goal that he was ready to attack. And he's been electrifying. We've been on every show this season talking about Haaland, and they shut him out completely. They must get some praise for that. Come on.
I agree with that, but at the end of the day, in the first game they played, they beat Man City. In the Community Shield, Liverpool always beat Man City. Liverpool have a good record against Man City, so for me,
I wouldn't say they always beat Man City.
This game to me, it doesn't really show if they are back or not. I will see against West Ham when they have to play open attack in the front foot, where they don't have to think about Haaland.
Okay, do you know? I give it to you. This could be a one-off, but I am ready to give them their props when props are due, because at the end of the day, they inflicted.
No, they did well.
They inflicted City's first defeat this season, and also all Arsenal fans, unbeaten for a whole season, has been protected for another year, so they can celebrate for another season. Big up Liverpool for that. But we can't talk about the game without highlighting and praising a guy that's been so consistent across all competitions over the last few years. The guy that scored the winning goal yesterday, Mohamed Salah. They doubted him. They said he down tools. He's been paid too much and he's gone backwards. Did he answer the critics this week?
I don't think he answered the critics. I think he silenced them for a bit. He's not been the same player since he came back from the Nations Cup, and we know this. We've seen this. He missed a lot of goals in the Champions League final. He has not been prolific from the start of the season. And yes, he scored the winning goal. He scored 4 goals against Rangers, but that's Rangers. But this game, the goal mattered. Yes, and he proved a point. He silenced them for a bit, but he still has to prove over the course of the season that he's still the same player still has the same level.
I disagree personally. Like, at the end of the day, 123 Premier League goals, record African scorer in Premier League history.
Yeah.
Also, record African scorer in the Champions League. The accolades just keep continuing for this guy. Winner yesterday, could have scored a brace or maybe even a hat-trick. This guy doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. Mohamed Salah is a top footballer, top 3 players in the world.
I wouldn't say top 3 players in the world right now. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say top 3 players in the world right now. If we're looking at since January, he hasn't really been on form. Yes, he has the histories. He has built all that work. 1 goal can definitely get him that record. But right now, he's not the top 3, top 5 best players in the world. He's a good player, great player, but he's not the best top 3 in the world right now. I'm sorry to say, bro.
Class is permanent.
Yeah, but he's not better than Benzema right now, Haaland, or even
showed that this week.
Or even Mbappe right now, or even Neymar. Neymar is playing right now. Fantastic football.
For sure.
So you with the top 3 is over the top.
I don't know.
He had a good game yesterday, and let's keep it at that.
He had a great week. We'll agree to disagree, though. It seems like never don't take lie to everyone that watched that game yesterday knew it was a stop and start to the game, but Arsenal got the job done. But I think the officials and VAR were the most valuable players yesterday in yesterday's game. What are you saying, KANEBI?
Yesterday's game, Arsenal, I think they were lucky to win. Extremely lucky. To be honest, it was a game of 2 halves. And the first half, Arsenal were totally in control. They had all the possession. The second half, Leeds came out a different animal. And Arsenal were very fortunate that Brentford didn't take his penalty well. And Ramsdale made a couple of saves. And for the fact that VAR, which actually played a key role in making some key decisions. For me, Arsenal were very lucky. And they can't play like that if they know they want to seriously finish in the top 4 or challenge for the title.
Okay. Before we talk about their credentials and title challenges, let's talk about the VAR incident.
Yeah.
Because obviously Saka, great goal. I mean, he seems to really push on this week. He scored 4 goals in 3 games. So he's really pushed on. People said he had a tough start to the season. 5 goals, 4 assists. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Those are potentially world-class numbers for the games he's played in. But VAR had a place to play in the penalty for
Brentford, yeah.
So I want to talk about why have VAR missed the offside leading to the goal, but they still gave the penalty? How is that happening?
I think the problem with VAR is a pick and choose system. In terms of today it's handball, tomorrow it's offside, next week is a foul. Whatever works for them, whatever suits them. We saw also in the Liverpool game that because it was Anfield, some decisions that shouldn't have happened went their way. It's the same thing. And for me, the problem is the referees, they need a new, fresh batch of referees that really understand the game.
I agree.
I don't think the guys in the VAR panel or whatever understand the game. It's all based on what I saw, what I see, there's no clear-cut definition of their decisions.
Yeah. There's too much inconsistency.
There's too much inconsistency, too much drama. For me yesterday, yes, VAR helped Arsenal because Gabriel was lucky. Gabriel was very lucky. If it was another referee, he would have said that's a penalty.
Yeah.
You know, it all depends on the referee also. So, for me, VAR is a good and a bad thing. It might help you today, it might fuck you up tomorrow.
That's real talk. That's real
just what
talk.
it
At the end of the day, VAR, right? It's like it helped Arsenal, but it nearly hurt Arsenal yesterday. Because first of all, it should have spotted the offside, so that should never have been a penalty. Justice was done when Bamford missed, and then if there was no VAR, Gabriel gets sent off, and Leeds get that last-minute penalty, and it's a completely different game. So that is a great opportunity for VAR to show its value, and they showed it perfectly there. Arsenal ended up winning the game. And as much as I would love to say Arsenal were lucky, they didn't play well, there was clearly a hangover from the game in Europe because they had a lot of first-team starters in that game. But they won ugly, dirty, disgusting, filthy victory. That's the way they won. It wasn't that glitz and glamorous pop like Arsenal normally do. They won dirty. And as you said at the start of this topic, to challenge, you've got to win pretty. and you've got to win ugly. And obviously, we'll see what happens against Southampton. But a great result, nevertheless, for Arsenal.
Against Leeds, for me, I felt that Arsenal should have scored more goals, especially in the first half. Because if you look at the head-to-head between Leeds and Arsenal, Leeds haven't won them in 15 years. So
20 games without a loss against them.
So it's still a good win for them. It shows resilience. It shows great character. It shows the defense is on point. And yesterday, funny enough, Saliba and Gabriel have not really been tested till yesterday. They were under a lot of pressure, but they came out with a clean sheet. That's the irony of it.
And that, as bad as they played, they end up with a clean sheet. And as much as Saliba's done a great job this season, you can see in some areas that he's still young and he's still learning.
He's still learning.
But the fact that he's had such great games has really put credit in the bank, so the fans are not onto him. They understand and appreciate he'll still make mistakes, but there's a world beater in him anyway. Arsenal's still top of the league. They said the first test was against Manchester United. I agree. But in terms of test, I believe after that game was when the test started. How can Arsenal bounce back? And Arsenal have won every single game since that game. Best
start of in top flight in 165 years for the Arsenal Football Club. Mikel Arteta making history.
El-Clasico. They say it's the biggest game in football. In world football, El-Clasico. Real Madrid versus Barcelona. KANEBI, I don't know if you've been like me. And since Ronaldo left the El-Clasico, it kind of watered it down. Then Messi left the El-Clasico. So I've not really been involved in this game for the last couple of years. But yesterday, that's the game I was waiting for. The front three of Real Madrid of Valverde,
Vinicius and
Benzema, right? Versus Rafinha, Lewandowski and Dembele. That's the matchup that we wanted to see. And they didn't let us down.
They didn't let us down, but what more can I say? When you have someone like Drake betting on your team, that's what happens.
The Drake curse!
So what I'm going to say is Federico Valverde, brilliant footballer. That boy, since the last 3 years, he's been going up.
Most improved La Liga player this season.
Federico Valverde is a footballer of any coach's dream. He destroyed Barcelona yesterday. Real Madrid, totally more dominant, totally the superior team. You could tell that there was more balance, more chemistry. They knew what they were doing. The coach was tactically on point, and I mean from the get-go they schooled Barcelona. They even had the goal disallowed.
Yeah, and it was a typical incident of men versus boys.
Yeah,
as progressive and as exciting Xavi Hernandez is with his tactics and his new team, he was up against Don Carlo. At the end of the day, big bad Don Carlo.
Barcelona don't just have the defense. I mean, you're playing Piqué. I don't
know how he still starts.
You're playing Piqué. There's no Juice Conde. Juice Conde is playing right back. They have no natural right back in their team. And come on, Barcelona don't have a good back four. And that is the problem with that team. And the midfield, you are playing a young Gavi with a young Pedri with a Busquets. Yeah. It's not balanced. Where's Frank Kessie? Where's the power? Where's the steal? Where's the drive in midfield?
You're right.
You have none of that.
You're right.
Against the Kroos, Modric, Valverde, and a young, oh my God, Tchouaméni.
He bossed the game.
Tchouaméni should be the transfer of the summer.
And the difference between Real Madrid and Barcelona is Real Madrid have quietly just attached young players to the aging side, and we've not really noticed that they added Camavinga last season.
Tchouaméni,
you have Rodrigo, Vinicius. And bit by bit, they're now reaping the benefits, because you remember how people used to abuse Vinicius when he first came in the team, but they believed in him, kept putting in the side, and they're reaping the rewards of it right now.
I'm telling you, Vinicius, to me, like I said on I think it was episode 2, Vinicius is the best young winger in the world right now.
I'll give you that.
There is no winger better than Vinicius on that left-hand side.
Performing at that level.
Yeah, in fact, he could even take on the senior man right now.
Real talk. I challenge the comment section to let us know a more influential winger in world football.
Vinicius Jr. is becoming a force to be reckoned with, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Real Madrid have another chance. They could win another Champions League this year.
Facts. Facts.
They have the team, they have the coach, they have the talent.
The thing with Real Madrid for me is not even like they necessarily play the best football, but they just know how to win.
They know how to win, and they have a Karim Benzema who might be picking up the Ballon d'Or tonight.
I'm glad you talked about that, because one of the biggest things in La Liga this season they've talked about is Lewandowski versus Benzema. We've been waiting for this day. Lewandowski kept saying, if we're in the same league, I'll show him who's boss. But we found out who was boss last night, and we're going to find out again tonight.
Yeah, it's Benzema. Karim
Mercedes
Benzema is the
Benz.
best number 9 in the world. And you can see what he brings to Real Madrid. He brings that drive, that class, that je ne sais quoi.
Link up play,
Do you
left foot,
understand?
right foot, headers, dribbles. What can he not do? He was Ronaldo's slave for many years. He sacrificed himself for Ronaldo, got himself 4 Champions Leagues, and then Ronaldo left. They said, you know what? I can still play ball, oh. And a lot of you football fans were shocked at the quality of Benzema, but the real ones that have known him from Lyon days, they know he's always been able to play like this. But he sacrificed his strengths just for the greater good of the team. And tonight, he's finally getting the recognition he deserves.
He's getting the Ballon d'Or tonight, and I think he's well deserved. There's no other player in the world of football that played better in the last 9 months, and I feel this is just the start. And Benzema deserves it. He should be cemented up there. In his generation, he is definitely one of the best players in his generation. And I can't lie, I don't want France to win the World Cup, but if they win the World Cup, he's going to win that Ballon d'Or again.
Real talk.
Of course, this is the time when we talk about the Africans on fire, the African boys who are lighting the top 5 leagues in Europe up. We start with the Congolese forward, Kantompa Umvumpa. Scored 2 goals and got 1 assist for VfB Stuttgart in the 4-1 win over Bochum on Saturday. I mean, vote. He's a good player, was a good goal, and what can I say, man? He's one on the rise.
Represented for our African Warriors. Also, African Footballer of the Year, Sadio Mane, and Cameroonian striker Choupo-Moting both got on the score sheet for Bayern Munich on the weekend. Both had really, really good games. And Mane, I don't know if you saw the interview, Mane was talking about how one of the best decisions of his life was leaving Liverpool, because now he's playing with less pressure, more freedom just to focus on his game. So big shout out to those 2 guys for scoring this weekend.
And of course, our very own Ademola Lookman is on fire. He's made it 3 goals in a row, and now he scored a goal against Sassuolo. In fact, he scored the winner for Atalanta, and he's becoming a very important player in that side. And I'm very happy for Ademola Lookman. More grease to your elbow, and I want to see those goals for the Super Eagles too.
100%. And I just hope finally Nigerian man go find home, because he's just been chopping team for team for team. I hope finally he's found a home, and if he does, it massively benefits the Super Eagles. And
100.
another Super Eagles forward back in the side, a goal and an assist in the Champions League, and also a winning goal for Napoli on the weekend, Victor Osimhen. And I don't know if KANEBI, you saw the interview where his manager, Napoli, talked about how this season he wanted Victor to raise the bar in terms of leadership. He needs to become not just a scorer, a leader. And I believe if you watched him in the last 2 games in particular, like, he's really galvanizing the troops together, pushing and really driving for the Serie A title.
Yeah, and that's what it takes, because he actually has that that attribute in his personality, and I feel he can be one of the top strikers in Europe. He just needs to work better on his game, improve his finishing, his decision making in the final third. And I think Osimhen, he has a very good reputation. Physically, he has the body to dominate defenders, so he should be scoring more goals. And
Facts.
he has the brain, the mentality to be a very good leader for that
100%. And he definitely has, even without service, he's one of those strikers that can just make things happen.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to do a competition for African Player of the Week this week, but 4 goals in 1 week, number 1 African scorer in the Premier League, number 1 African scorer in the Champions League, and a winner against Manchester City, who some say are the best team in Europe right now. African Player of the Week. I'm sure you agree with me, KANEBI. Have to go to Mohamed Salah.
Mo Salah.
Running down the wing.
Salah.
The Egyptian king. Arsenal fans, please don't hate me. I just had to make it happen. We have to pay homage to our African warriors. Big up Mo Salah this week,
Big up Mo
man.
Salah. Mo Salah has been a phenomenon since he's been in Liverpool, and he has taken the league and Europe by storm. He's a great player. He's definitely one of the best players in the last decade, and you have to give it to him for being the African Player of the Week this period. And Congratulations to Mo Salah.
For sure, man. And I hope he continues to break more records and representing and putting Africa on the map. Oh yeah, now my people, it's been your guy, Kunle, aka the Nigerian Englishman.
And KANEBI, aka Mr. Go.
And there you have another episode of Round on the Ground. See you next week. Feel the heat.
Cheers.